Voiceover studio engineer of the stars in Los Angeles, California, a Virginia Tech grad with a knowledge of recording studios unmatched in his field. He's a voice actor from Buffalo, New York, with 30 years experience in recording studios and behind the mic. He solves people's home voiceover studio problems in the blink of an eye. Together, there's no studio problem they can't solve, and they'll do it for you tonight. Welcome to East West Audio Body Shop. Now, live from a basement in Buffalo and an office in L.A., here are Dan Leonard and George Whittam.
They win.
Live.
All right, and we've made it again. Good
He's the
evening.
voiceover studio engineer of the star.
I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are East West
Audio Body Shop.
Well, we've made it to another week. Not a lot of people with us so far. Call your friends, get them on. This could be an interesting show. We could do something a little bit different tonight. We're going to try and get as many people on as we can. If you've got a question, our number on Skype, and you should all have Skype. If you don't have Skype, what are you doing in this business? The number on Skype is eWabshop, EWABSHOP on Skype. Get yourself friended in there and give us a call. And if you've got a question about home studio stuff, we'd like to answer it. How's your week been, George?
Well, it's been quite a busy week, which is, I think both Dan and I have had a busy week, but it's kind of like one of those things where it was either not do the show at all, or because we just didn't have a lot of time for pre-production or prep, or just do the show and just try something new where we just make it a complete free-for-all and just see what happens. So there's no format tonight. We're not doing breaks. We don't have any guests lined up. It's all going out the window.
That's right.
And but I've also had a little time to play with this new TV software called BOINX, and it's a stupid name for a really powerful video switching software, which is what I'm using right now. Unfortunately, it also, because it's so powerful, it needs oodles of horsepower in your computer to run. And as usual, I'm finding out that I'm, maxing out my system. And it's like not running too smoothly. Like right now, I'm watching it like kind of gasp for air to keep running. But it's a pretty amazing program. And I think as I get better at it and I get better at optimizing it, I think you'll get to see more and more of what it's capable of doing. And we'll be able to have our titles and layers, and I can do stuff like put our station logo on. There it is.
Packages. Oh, there we are. Yeah, we. Oh, look at that! Wow, that's cool.
Important stuff like that.
Right. We can do remotes. Have reporters in the field. It'll be amazing.
Yeah. So I thought we'd just have some. I figured if we're just going to keep it loose this week, I figured I would try out this new software, put it through its paces, and just see what it's capable of. See what we can throw at it,
That's right. Well, that's technology. I mean, it's actually pretty amazing, some of the gadgetry that we can deal with today in doing voiceover and just in general. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about this. I think it's that important, not just people in voiceover who need to learn how to do some of the things that we're all trying to learn how to do, which is how to have a home studio, how to record at home. We shouldn't be limiting this just to voiceover people. There's, people who are doing audiobooks, authors, people who do lectures. And if you've ever seen some software demonstrations, you know what I'm talking about. That's why they hire us. As a matter of fact, somebody hired me today to do that. It was like his accent was sort of French. And he's like, I need you to do this, and can you transcribe it? And I'm like, sure, no problem. And I transcribed it, I recorded it, and it was done. So I'm glad that, I'm sure people are glad that people like us are around that can actually do the professional voice work. But more people need to learn how to use some of these recording technologies. And with some of the stuff you can get on your iPhone, I mean, gee whiz. I mean, there was the thing I saw on the forums yesterday, this multi-track editor for broadcasters. I can't remember exactly the name.
Is it called Hindenburg? Or is it called...
Hindenburg.
That's one... Yeah, the Hindenburg thing, and then there's another one that's from National Public Media or something, American Public Media.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, and I go back to my days when I remember being on, a reporter in radio, and it's like, boy, that would have been nice to have. Just hold up your iPhone and and edit it, and then send it off to the station and stuff. That would have been really cool.
No kidding. Yeah, so, I mean, the capability of the thing is, the iPhone, the hardware is incredible. And the iPad 2 is even more incredible because it's that dual-core A5 processor, which I know will make its way into the next phone. Right.
Have you got your iPad yet?
No, I have not gotten an iPad yet. Trust me, it's the thoughts cross my mind, but there's just been so many more things that have to float to the top of the priority list for me lately in terms of expenses. So I just haven't been able to justify getting one. But if anybody has an extra one and they want to put it to good use, let me know. If you just don't know what to do with that thing, I can find out some good uses for the
Absolutely.
thing.
Well, you can't have mine. I've got an iPhone. I've got my laptop here. I got my iMac over here. I got my horse right here. His name is Paul Revere. I mean, I've got I surround myself with Mac technology, and I got a PC over here. It's like, probably an AT or something like that.
Right.
You have to crank it up every now and again. Anyway, if you want to join us tonight here on East West Audio Body Shop, buddy yourself up on Skype with eWab Shop, EWABSHOP, and call in if you got a question, and we'd love to have you on just to chat with us and see what's going on out there in the rest of the voiceover world.
I'll look out for you. If I see a caller pop up, I'll take the first one that pops up, but Dan and I will just keep shooting the breeze about everything that floats our boat lately. So
that's true. We'll take caller number 1.
Exactly.
I spent too much time in radio, But the technology is absolutely amazing. The things that we can do. I mean, just in on the fact that we could do it on a laptop. What used to be a $250,000 recording facility is now less than $1,000. I mean, and that includes the microphone. Yeah. And I think people should be amazed by that. Everybody should be taking advantage of it. Heck, my kid can edit audio. Why can't everybody else?
Yeah, really. Well, it's just It's just taking the time to learn it, and taking that, just taking advantage of it out there, and not being afraid to experiment with it, not being afraid to screw up. Just allow yourself to, just like we're doing this show right now. I mean, I know there's a lot of technical issues. I mean, right now I'm looking at it. It looks like we're watching a slideshow. The frame rate's terrible, but I just had to give it a shot and see what happens. I might take a break, switch the frame rate, and see if I can get it to run a little faster later. But that's the beauty of this stuff. You can have fun with it. You can try and experiment and make mistakes. And there is a time when to not make mistakes, and that's when you're, working for the client and doing the final product. So take a lot of time to experiment on your own time and work with people that are willing to listen to the mistakes and give you notes on how to fix them,
Absolutely. Well, I've been messing around with software this week. I got the upgrade to Audition CS5, which a lot of people are like, hey, this is really cool. They totally married Sound Booth and Audition, and it really works great.
What are some of the tools that were Sound Booth specific that made it into Audition?
Well, there's the royalty-free music that's in there.
Oh, sweet. I was so sad that was going to go away.
No. And the thing is I still have Sound Booth, so I can use it there if I want to. But the scores have been brought into CS5, which is, for people who want to do production and, use the royalty-free music. And they've got all sorts of stuff at Adobe if you go online, and you can download these individual scores, and they're all customizable. So if you've got a 60-second spot or a 30-second spot and you need a 30-second piece of music, you can time it out to 30 seconds, and it goes to these different segments. So the intro is there's an intro part of it and a middle part, and you can adjust different levels of the music, different instrumentation in it, and change the intensity and the volume, and then it ends on on an outro music, and you just plug it in there, and you stretch it, and it's real easy to use. I mean, it looks kind of weird at first, and you're like, oh, it's this, and that, and boom, and you do it, and suddenly you've got a 30-second or a 15-second or a 60-second bed. Like, for instance, our theme music is from Sound Booth.
Don't tell anybody.
No, it's royalty free.
Yeah, that's right. It's totally legit. Totally legit.
So, I've been really pleased with it. But the real big difference, I mean, if you're used to Audition, what they've gone is more to like the Sound Booth interface, where it's a lot of panels. I know there's the same thing with Audition. You can sort of run it like Sound Booth, and you can sort of run it like Audition. There's the different panels. You can run the mixer on it. Not that I would ever do that, because if I'm ever running more than 2 channels, I'm like really overdoing it. But you can, instead of layering different tracks, and then saying, well, okay, I want to record an extra track and I need to edit it in here. Like Sound Booth, it places them each as an individual file in the Files tab. And it's like, okay, here's file number 1, and you can just click that on, edit that file, then go back to another file. So you're working with individual tracks, which is why I like Sound Booth so much.
Right.
And but it also has a multi-track mode, and there's a classic view to it, and it's sort of like both of them, and it's a little bit more powerful. The thing that it does that Sound Booth didn't used to do is it has more effects, because you can use plugins. So you can use all the VST and AU plugins, or some of the other plugins that you can get for a PC. And of course, it's PC and Mac compatible. There's a version for each.
Oh, okay. So that was another thing that I didn't realize actually was a limitation of Sound Booth, was that it didn't do plugins.
Right. It did not do plugins. And but this has the effects rack, and you can layer. You used to be able to layer lots of effects with Sound Booth, but you didn't get to use outside plugins. Like,
I just pushed BOINX over the edge.
Did you?
Yeah, it's beach bowling right now.
Uh-oh.
So everybody's hearing us, but nobody's seeing anything.
Oh, okay.
So everybody can hear what we're talking about, but right now I got a beach ball spinning. So we can keep talking until it crashes.
Can keep talking until this thing comes back. I mean,
or crashes, one or the other.
I don't know. It looks like our logo is up there.
I know. But I got a beach ball and I can't get out of this shot. So I either let it go until the show's over, or I crash it and just wait till it reboots. One or the other.
Why don't you crash it? I'm wearing another new shirt tonight. I just don't want to waste have to wear this one next week.
Exactly.
So,
I'll tell you what. I'll go real guerrilla style. Since we got Ustream Producer running simultaneously, and it's doing the broadcast, what I'll do is add a live shot.
Right.
And we'll make that live shot be me sitting here.
Okay.
And now I will force quit Ustream Producer.
Okay.
And you can keep talking.
Okay, we'll keep talking. So anyway, if you want to be on the show tonight, as we ramble on here, although, George, all we have to do is throw out a topic, and you and I could talk for hours, because we usually do. If you have a question you'd like to ask us,
Oh, this is just a monster train wreck. How about now? Okay, now they get audio.
Okay.
That's
Are
something.
they hearing it? Hey, Diane, you hearing us out there? Just type in if you can hear us. Okay, all right. There you go. Okay.
She said yes, huh?
Okay, I see that. So,
right. BOINX. Let me get my shot back from BOINX. Oh, that's neat.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Whoa. Ow.
And we're back.
Oh, there we go. That's better.
All right.
All right.
Boy, that was graceful. Not.
That's the way it goes. Anyway, why don't we try and take a break here? And if somebody has a call, has a question for us, and would like to actually be on East West Audio Body Shop right now, again, connect with us on Skype at EWABShop, EWABSHOP, and call into that, and we'll get you on. In the meantime, George and I will be right back after this, if this thing works.
VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource center 24/7. Hundreds, probably thousands of free how-to articles for voiceover success, ranging from home studio to voice acting to business. A free voiceover industry directory, calendar of industry events, resource links, a store, and much more. Bi-monthly webinars on all topics of voiceover, free subscriptions to newsletters, reports, announcements, daily news, and features at voiceoverextra.com. VoiceOver Extra, the voiceover industry's online news, education, and resource.
Okay, now they can hear us too.
And we're back. Right. You know, if you're wondering why, I mean, we're trying something new here tonight, and you know, we're both busy guys. We both work full time on what we do, and producing this show. When things start to break down during the week, and there's a lot more going on than usual. And I had one of those weeks, but we don't want to get into that. And I'm sure you had one, George. So we figured let's throw caution to the wind tonight, and let's see let's throw it against the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and next week I know we have a guest for next week, and we'll get back to our normal mode. Plus, it's a holiday weekend. Everybody's probably at the beach or
exactly
not on their computer. You know, but then again, I look at some of these people. I guess they never leave home.
Well, let me see. The chat room is happening. Let's put the chat room up on the other screen here, because that's more interesting than the show right now. It's Diane and John talking about what are they talking about? Having a beer.
Yeah. Well, somebody pour me one, for crying out loud. You've been doing an IB. Oh, so Diane's been doing an IBS narration. Nothing like IBS.
Actually, what is IBS?
Irritable bowel syndrome.
Oh, I thought it was a technical abbreviation.
No, you thought it was
like IVR or something.
No, IBS is irritable bowel syndrome.
Awesome.
I have a friend that's actually doing research and writing a book on it right now. It's like the manual for IBS. Boy, this is not what we want to be talking about when we're talking about voiceover, but it's fascinating. You know, I would like to know some of the most interesting things people have worked on. I mean, I do stuff like, you know, installing bifurcated arterial stent grafts and you know, remote control lock systems. Right now I'm doing something on accounting. You know, I actually understand all the terms. You put me in front of a ledger, it's like, oh boy, I ain't gonna be able to do this. But I sound like I know what I'm doing, and that's the most important thing.
That's the key to being a good medical or what do they call it? Industrial
medical. See, that's the other fascinating thing about voiceover, is that there's so many different genres, and you've got a lot of people getting into the business going, I want to be a star on commercials. Well, I'm working full time. I don't even do commercials unless somebody begs me to do one. I've got more stuff to do than I can handle most of the time. So, all you guys who are doing commercials and stuff like that, more power to you,
Yeah, really.
In case they wrote one.
Well, it wouldn't be so bad to have a national campaign, though, would it?
Well, I've done one. I actually did a few others before, but now I'm waiting. The agents are out there looking for us, guys. If you're out there, I think we're actually going to be getting an agent on in a couple of weeks. I know Eric Shepard said he wanted to come on the show, and next week I know we have another guest, and so maybe it's just an unexciting weekend for everybody, but we're here for it. And we want to hear from you.
I think the guest definitely is a draw because, since this week we didn't promote it and we didn't announce a guest, it definitely knocked the viewership down by 50% at least.
Right.
So that's a good experiment for us to know that, we definitely know that you guys want to see a new guest each week. So that we will make sure we keep doing. They just certainly don't want to just see us. So next week we're going to have on, I just lined up Rebecca Wilson, who is the technical brainiac behind Source Connect.
Oh,
and
cool.
I think she's in New Zealand right now. So she'll come in via Source Connect, of course.
Of course.
And that's where her family is. Actually, she went down there to be with her family after the those really horrible earthquakes down there.
Earthquakes,
and she's been down there ever since. She said it's pretty nerve-wracking. She said the ground shakes almost every day.
Wow.
So
yeah, well, the whole Pacific Ring is like moving over about 8 inches every year right now.
Yeah.
So and then the Sony network was down for almost a month. So if any of your kids have PlayStation, my God.
Oh, that was a month?
It was a month it was down. When you're reading about it in the Wall Street Journal, it's important.
Yeah, really.
So
well, that means it's affecting people's pocketbooks at that point, right?
Absolutely.
Jeez.
Yeah. So again, if you want to call in, eWab Shop on Skype is the number. Please put us out of our misery and give us a call here.
Oh yeah. Well,
and don't make me do another alcohol commercial here. Anyway,
what's the latest gadget you've seen pop up on your radar that you were like, I'd like to try to get my hands on one of those?
Well, I'm always looking at apps, and there was we were talking earlier about the broadcasting, the Reporter app that for an iPhone, the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
Got a great website too with the Hindenburg and the guy with the microphone and everything.
Yeah,
and it's interesting to see all this stuff. What I'm waiting for, and I'm hoping it'll come out soon, is we've talked about this before, is the
microphone,
the Epigee mic.
The mic. MIC.
They come up with the greatest names for these things. And if that works as well as I hope it does, because we all know Epigee makes great stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm sure this is a well thought out, well developed microphone for the iPad. And it'll probably work on the iPhone too if it's the same interface. If that works, then you really have what all you people seem to want. I don't quite understand it, is the complete portable studio. Where you'll have complete internet access, you'll have a multitasking, you have an iPad that can multitask, so you can run prompter or look at your script on there and run your recording software in the background. Boy, I don't think you can get any better than that. Look at the opportunity that presents just about anybody, not just people in the voiceover business.
Yeah.
So
I think you don't understand
really
it, Dan, because of the area of voiceover you work in. You don't really have to wear those golden handcuffs so much as like the people that do affiliates and promo, where they're expected to have 20-minute, they're given a 20-minute notice, at any time, day or night, to do a spot, and they make great money doing it, but it's kind of insane what the expectation is nowadays for them.
Yeah. Does anybody out there do political spots? It's something I've wanted to do. I sort of do them with some other video stuff that I do for some organizations. But, there was a big election here in the New York 26th district. If all of you were following politics at all this week, that was my district here in Western New York. And it had nothing to do with the president or a referendum on anything. It was a referendum on 2 candidates, and there were 3 candidates, and all of them sucked. And it was I'm still wondering what it was about. The media's saying, well, it was a vote for President Obama. Well, this is a heavily Republican district, and everybody's like, I don't even feel like going to vote. It was like there was money came from everywhere. I want to get into these political ads, or at least be a salesman at one of the local stations. I mean, there was one election going on in Western New York, and it was one commercial after another, and the big organizations, the congressional committees, were throwing millions of dollars here. And I'm like, God, what a waste of money. You could be feeding poor people with that thing. Why are we throwing money at these, for a couple of schmucks who are running for Congress,
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, but, it's, like, do you want to vote for this person? Like, geez, who needs that kind of stuff?
Tell Diane, it's EWAB shop, like the email address, EWABSHOP. That's the Skype address. She just asked John when it was in the chat room. We're watching the chat room.
All right. Yeah, the chat room's apparently a lot more exciting than us.
Yeah.
So.
In regards to software, I just stumbled on a thing today called Wiretap Anywhere. Yeah. And it's a Mac-only app. But what it does is it basically, you've always tried to figure out a really elegant way to like be able to do Skype and do recording sessions at the same time on the same computer with the same sound interface. And you've always been able to do it, but you couldn't do, it was a little kludgy. You couldn't do things like, say, play back the audio that you recorded back into Skype very easily. But this software, Wiretap, allows you to do all the patching. So you can have one thing going to the next thing, going to the next thing. And now you have the capability of basically, as though you had an actual mixing console doing all the routing for you, now it's all being done completely in software. And there's been other ways to do it. There's been another program called that I actually have running on my machine called Soundflower. And it lets you do some of that kind of routing, but it's not that logical, and it has some limitations. But this stuff, this thing is amazing. In fact, I can throw it up on the screen here and go to one shot of Dan, and then that will let me show it to everybody, at least some of it. It's still a split screen. Here we go.
Split screen. Oh, I see.
Here we go. So here's the Wiretap Anywhere interface. And you say, let's add a new device. Give it a name. Click on Settings. And now once you're in Settings here, let's see if I can show more of this. So you can see there's that virtual patch cable looking kind of interface. So you can add a source. I want my source to be Skype. And you can add you can change your destination or add multiple destinations. But in this case, I want to have two sources. I want to have Skype be one source, and I want my audio codec or my recording device to be the other source. So there you go. You're seeing a virtual mixer. You've got Skype as one source, your audio codec as the other source. And then what it does is creates this new virtual audio device, which you can call whatever you want.
Wow.
And I'll call it, let's call it Skype. How would I do this? I don't know what I would call it. Let's see.
So you're seeing us do what we do every day in real time. Shows you how incredibly exciting our lives are.
Yeah, Skype playback. Okay, so now I have the ability to take Skype or take my recordings and play them back into Skype. I'll make another. That's going to be Skype. Actually, that would be Skype. That would be Skype Record. Sorry, Skype Record. Bear with me here, folks. I'll do another one that's Skype Playback. This patch.
Just sort of take that and
say, move these cables here, move those cables there. That's right. And now my playback is going to be, let's see, let's add a source. Playback's going to be my recording software, which right now I don't have anything running, but I'll just use QuickTime, my recording software. So now when I want to play back into Skype, I have the ability to do that. But I also want to add to that my audio device again. Why do I want to do that? Well, that lets me. Why do you
want to do that?
Well, that lets me play back audio from the software that we're playing back from into Skype, but also talk into Skype at the same time.
Right.
So I can play back and then talk to them, and without having to switch wires back and forth and unplug and turn knobs.
Right.
So now I have two new devices, Skype Playback, Skype Record. Now I'd go into Skype and I'd set my Skype input to Skype Record, Skype output to playback. And I've created two new virtual devices for recording and playback. It looks kind of kludgy and complicated, but once you've understood it and figured out the flow of it, it's amazing. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, I've been waiting for something like this for a long time to eliminate the need for a physical mixer that you have to plug a bunch of cables into.
Or as those of us in broadcasting remember, the old patch bay.
Yeah.
You know, it was the old AT&T plugs, and it was the double-sided plugs, and it was like only the engineers. Well, that was the kind of stuff you did, but only the engineers knew how all that stuff worked. And you'd come in and you'd see them soldering back there, and it was how they would. Everything was connected up in a studio.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean,
that's what this is. This is a virtual patch bay.
Yeah, it's a virtual patch bay that also has basically multiplex or multis or mults or whatever they call it, where they combine signals together. But it does it all in the digital domain, so it's completely lossless with no added noise or anything. Diane was actually saying she needed a phone patch. Yeah, I mean, the whole idea of using an earbud and from your cell phone, it works just fine. In fact, I have clients that don't have the clients that certainly have the wherewithal to be able to play back their audio over their phone patch. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't. It's just that they choose not to be able to do that. They choose not to have that service because they're like, the attitude is, well, why do you want me to play it back? You just heard it. So now you're burning my, you're wasting my time as a talent asking me to play back what I just said. I'll send you the file. You can choose to take later, so, but more and more, I think it's like, if you have the luxury of not giving them what they want, good for you. But I think these days you got to give them what they want.
Well, there's a lot of tradition with that. And there's a lot of people who don't really want to move out of the tradition of how things were done. And it always used to be, if you were at a studio and there was a remote client, they always were, somebody didn't want to come into town to be at the studio, you'd do it by a phone patch.
Right.
And, and a lot of people buy these phone hybrids, and I find it absolutely useless with Skype. I mean, if you've got Skype, you should be able to, especially now with this type of software, you should be able to feed stuff right through on Skype. And and feed the playback back. But if they're hearing you record it, you just play it over the speaker. So the idea is that you're supposed to hear it in full fidelity, which you're not going to hear on a phone patch anyway.
Right. And
you're going to hear it actually better on Skype as it is. So it doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of people. I think a lot of it has to do with that's the way it's always been done. Well, guess what? It's 2011. Nothing is the way it used to be done because we're doing a television show here. And I'm sitting in my basement in Buffalo, and you're in your office in Santa Monica. And amazingly, we're both here. And amazingly, people are watching us. And it's like being on TV, only we're not on TV. We're on the internet, as we knew it would happen someday. And,
well, I mean, just because I've been doing this show, now people are asking me about doing this themselves. I've actually got my first client, who's a repeat client of mine. But I have my first client who's requested me to basically guide him through the process of doing this kind of show.
I don't know how anybody else can do it without you around, though.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. He wants to basically hire me to do all the pre-production, all the technical setup, get the gear list together. I sent him a quote saying, here's what all the gear is going to cost you, including camera, lighting, software, computers, audio mixers, lavalier. Basically, it's just for his wife to do a single shot talking head show and take calls.
We all know how exciting that can be.
Yeah, very exciting.
I mean, I'm looking forward to the day when we can get one of our guests. I guess we're actually going to have to splurge for conference Skype or something.
Yeah, I could turn it on. Actually, anybody want to try it out with us? Because you can turn it on.
Do you have it?
Well, you can get a 7-day free trial. So you can, with our new account, we can kick it on and actually
why don't we try and kick it on?
But
Who
we
wants,
need somebody.
who wants to be a guinea pig?
Yeah, we need somebody that wants to try it.
Raise your hand. We know you're out there.
Be
we know you're
on camera on eWebs being recorded for in perpetuity here. Anybody want to do it? Oh, we got a couple more people in the chat room now. I see too.
I see that. George Washington has joined us.
Diane's like, "Oh Lord, I ain't doing it."
Put a hat on or something.
That's what I did, man.
Be fine,
I combed my hair a little, put a hat on, and changed my shirt about 5 minutes before we went on the air.
I've got a great T-shirt that says "Bald guys never have a bad hair day."
I don't think I'm ever going to be bald. I don't have that that trait.
Yeah, well, you want to know something? Sometimes it skips a generation. Oops, because my father wasn't bald, and look at me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. My brother's got all his hair. Why mine fell out? Who knows?
Let me see if you can keep them busy for find another cool topic to talk about, and I'm going to go on and see if I can register for the ability to start using three-way video.
Right. Yeah, I know. Diane had a question about Adobe Audition and running through that. Okay. Is there a problem with running Skype with Adobe Audition? I have found that running Sound Booth with Skype sometimes Skype would crap out on me. That can be kind of frustrating. I'm not exactly sure why that is, except that Sound Booth and I don't think it took up a lot of resources, but Skype certainly does. So I think that if you start to use both of them at the same time, there's a chance that they can break down. The thing is I've just learned to never sweat these things. If something goes wrong during a session, and you're relying on some technology. That's what telephones are for. That's why I have a landline.
What?
A landline. Remember copper wires and stuff? It's not rocket science, kids. Come on now.
We've activated our free trial of three-way video calling.
All right, Skype. Who's going to? Oh, come on. There's no camera on this. Come on, George. There's George Washington's telling us, I don't have a camera. We know he wants to sing some more, but he doesn't want to get on camera.
Diane said, I'll find a hat. Hang on. So.
Okay. All right.
Good for her.
Yeah, get your voiceover extra hat. We know you have one of those. So anyway, but she was asking about that. I find that if you've got a technical problem and you're doing a remote session, don't sweat it. It's not your fault. It's just technology. It doesn't matter. Everybody, if you're on a studio, if you're connected to a studio and they're on their clock, I can see where that might be a bit of a problem. But if you're just talking to another client and they're sitting in their office and while you're recording it, you pick up the phone and go, okay, we can continue on with this. I've learned to never get upset about these things. That's how you act professional. It's not hard to just keep your calm. A lot of people who are new in the business and they're like, oh, I got to get this out. There's this time factor. If they've hired you to do something, they will wait. They will be patient. And that's actual professionalism. If they're pros, they'll wait for you. Because the technology, as amazing as it is that we can do this show as we do it, or a lot of other things on the internet, it's not perfect yet. Of course, they used to think about, the transatlantic telephone call before they put Telstar up there and we were able to do, cross-ocean television and stuff like that. And then we realized that Europe was on PAL and we were on NTSC, but... remember watching Formula One races, and it's like, what are all those weird bars of resolution in there? But
did they really? Was it the translation that poor that you got a lot of noise and you could well, it wasn't noise. You could just tell it was different. Now I'm talking, 35 years ago, but I remember watching Formula One races on, and it was off of European TV, and it was like, that's different. It was like 4x4. It wasn't 4x3. It was the ratio was different and the resolution was different. It was very strange. I always liked looking at British TV shows because they were shot at a different frame rate.
Right.
Everything over there is 25 frames, whether it's film or video.
No, it's not.
Well, actually, not. Film is not 20. Film is 24, but the TV is 25, right?
And the TV is 30.
No. In Europe.
And PAL, yeah,
it's 25. And so it just has a different look to it. I remember looking at TV shows that shot in Europe, and they looked like they were kind of more shot on film. Yeah. Maybe it was just the call. Maybe it was just the frame rate. I don't know. But I'm trying to get Diane on. She said it's showing up that it's offline.
She hasn't friended it yet, or you have connected. Well, tell you what. Why don't we take a break? See if we can get Diane on, and we'll be right back. So go cue up the commercial, and we're out of here.
All right, here we go.
Okay, all right, you got her granted.
In the modern world of voiceover, whether you've got years of experience or you're a newbie, having a home studio is essential.
It's sort of.
A home studio is a unique environment. Every voice is different. Every room is different. Advice from friends is great, but you need someone with the experience of setting up hundreds of home voiceover studios.
Beautiful.
I'm Dan Leonard, the home studio master.
Yeah, it's just sitting there.
Let me show you the best place in your home to set up.
I like
the right equipment and how to properly use recording software. Plus, I troubleshoot your home studio nightmares. Wherever in the world you are, having a home studio is essential. But that doesn't mean you have to be a recording engineer. Let me show you how easy it is.
First of all, you have to
go
turn
to
off
homestudiomaster.com or email me at homestudiomaster@verizon.net.
And now let me see if I can get
guarantee results.
Okay.
I see if I can get
guarantee.
Okay, hang on. Okay, gotcha. Hi.
I have no idea how to now make us the three-way. Let's see, is this it?
Are they supposed to see me? Oh yeah, because that's at the cap. Sure.
Okay, add people to the conversation. Okay, and so right now our air shot is they're hearing us. They're seeing a still shot of you on the air. Dan's still there, but he's on hold. Now, let's see if it's logical. No, it's not logical. All right. I thought it'd be very logical to just add another caller to the conversation here. Your video's not on, though, right, Diane?
My video? Yeah, it should be on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, how do I check that? Hang on one second.
There's a button you have to push that has like a picture of a video camera. You have to engage.
Yeah, my video's working.
Oh, there you are. Hey there.
Hey.
You're on the air. You're on eWabs.
Hi.
Dan, I lost you, but I've got my new co-host. Let me see if I get the two-shot going here. Two-shot of the two of us. I'm having fun. I mean, it's for me, it's fun for us to be able to experiment this way and just see what happens.
Oh, I'm twinned now.
I twinned you. All right, there we go. All right, there we go. Now let me see if I can add Dan back in. And you might get put on hold, though. Hang on a second.
Okay, I'm going to put some more lights on in here.
Okay. So. Hey, Dan.
Oh, there we are. Oh, okay.
You're back, but I can't see you now.
I know I'm here. I can see me.
Diane's on hold.
Yeah.
And as you can see, there's a split screen of me and Diane from the Skype call, which is
who looks much better than me, by the way.
But I have no clue how to now put us into a group call. Not one iota.
Okay, the way you would do that in Skype, everybody's like, "Oh, you know how to do this, George? Come on!" You just go, you go into the screen where the group call thing is up top.
Is that the picture with like an arrow and add people to this call?
Right, exactly. And you click that in, and you throw us onto the same call.
Diane. Okay, there she is.
Right.
Add. There we go. You back, Dan? All right, that did not work. Let's try one more different thing.
What?
Okay, here we go. I added Diane to the call that she was already on, so that didn't work.
Okay.
Trying one more time, adding Diane. It should be a click and drag kind of thing. It should be really obvious.
Okay, well, let's see. Now we got a three-way call. Okay, you had me there for a second.
Okay, now I lost your video, and I don't have Diane's yet.
Hey.
Hey there, Diane.
Oh, what? We hear her.
And no, I don't have a...
And now I have Diane.
Okay,
But I don't have your video, Dan. Dan. You have to turn your video back on again manually.
I see.
No, my video should be on.
Oh, you see him?
I see Dan, but I don't see George.
Yeah, we don't see you.
No, you won't see me. Let me see if there's a way you can see me. This is the challenge of being able to broadcast on my so you can't share video cameras between two programs at the same time.
Well, that's not
so my camera's connected to BOINX, but I can't connect it to Skype at the same time without using another program called Cam Twist, which makes things even more crazy.
Yeah, that's when you start seeing smoke come out of your USB ports and stuff.
Well, my computer, I'm now using my wife's iMac, which is considerably faster than my MacBook Pro, and it is completely maxed. So once again,
you're seeing video because one or more of the people on this call has a subscription for group video calling. Find out about it. Well, I ain't going to go to that link right now. We're in the middle of a show here, so
exactly. Well,
so, Diane,
you guys can see each other, right?
Yeah, great. And I don't have one of those caps you were talking about, but I am a capaholic, so you can see.
You've got the
from Harlan Hogan.
Oh, that's right. As the as seen on TV hat.
Yes.
I have one too, but boy, is it sweaty. I played too much golf in that thing. It's like got all.
There you go. Can you guys see me now?
We see you. I half see Diane. I half see you, and I see the edge of my mustache.
Oh, well, I'm not talking about in the Ustream feed. That's a whole nother mess. Now, let me see if I can fix that. I'll go to a single shot of this one.
And of course, our audience is growing as all this nonsense is going on here.
Oh, wow, 14 viewers.
That's right. If you're just joining us right now, folks, what we're doing is we're having sort of a free-for-all night. It's Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, people are at the beach. They're at their mother-in-law's house having hot dogs and potato salad, whatever is going on. And
we're just goofing off.
We decided to goof off this week, and we're trying some new stuff, and we want to see if we can actually get a third picture in here of somebody else, so we can actually have a three-way dialogue going on, so you can see all three of us.
Well, we did see Diane. Now Dan's picture's gone, and your picture's still gone. Now Diane's picture's back, I still don't have your picture, Dan.
I swear.
But Diane sees Dan, right?
Yeah, she can see me. Well, I can see all three of you.
I've got several screens up right now. I've got the double monitors, so I've got Ustream on one, and then I've got the Skype on the other. So I've got, let's see, on Ustream, I see me, I see George, and I see Dan's mustache.
Dan's mustache, yeah, that's it.
But on Skype, I see through all three of us.
Yeah,
I see all three of us too. So
in other words, what everybody else is seeing right now is what I see, which is no Dan.
Just a mustache.
Yeah. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know. It's Skype 4.01, so I'm sure there's some, or 5.01 something, so I'm sure there's still some debugging to go on.
Right.
Oh.
So how things in North Carolina?
Oh, I'm in South Carolina.
Why do I keep confusing that? So how are things in South Carolina?
Ireland, Scotland, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Iceberg, Goldberg.
The weather's been beautiful. The pool's open.
Oh.
But the problem about it being so beautiful is that my air conditioning's on.
Ah, yes. Now you got to turn it off when you're recording. And when the husband comes home, you say, "Hey, look, I'm not only am I making money, I'm saving money at the same time."
Yeah, no, this one project, this one company, George and I have talked about it before. One company I do business with, one of my clients, he does not want me using my processor. So
good for him.
The process is incredibly lengthy, and I've been doing that 25-page narration on IBS today, which has been swell.
25 pages.
Yeah,
yep.
I didn't know you could talk that long about it, but I can.
It's a terrible thing.
Oh, it's awful. I know all about it now.
You should be so lucky.
Yeah, be glad you don't have it. I think is more.
I had to turn my air conditioning off, which makes the kids upstairs hot So I've thrown them out in the pool. But still, in fact, my computer's starting to heat up a little bit because,
Yeah, well, yeah, that is going to happen.
Yeah.
Let me hang up on Dan and add him back to the call. Hang on a second. And Diane, you and I will talk.
Okay.
So yeah, the whole processor, no processor thing, there's a lot of theories on why you do one and not the other and this and that. But it really comes down what the client wants, period. We may know that you can give them a better sound quality if it's going through your processor when it's been set up by someone that knows what they're doing, and you may be saving them production time. But at the end, if they don't trust it, or if they really want to have the control to do it on their end, then you just say, no problem, here you go. And you just have to give them what they want. So,
yeah.
Dan, I add you back in, but I still don't have your video. Do you see it, Diane? Do you see Dan?
On both screens.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
This could be the moment of truth, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's see if we've actually figured this out. My video should be coming through here any second now. I see the spinning wheel on my mustache.
Yay, it worked.
Woohoo! All right.
Awesome.
All right.
So what does Skype charge you for the privilege? As far as I understand, this is a $5 a day service.
Holy crap.
To do this. That's the per day fee, and then there's a subscription fee, which I didn't look up yet. But
that's the value of something like this, because if you can have a bunch of people on here, this is like, James Bond, where we have all the people from Spectre on the wall.
Yeah.
But now you can do, there were companies that were charging a lot of money to do conferencing over the internet and stuff using, ISDN and stuff like that. And something like this is going to compete with them. And of course, why Microsoft just offered to buy it, if you haven't noticed.
Well, I just installed Office 2011.
Yeah.
Which I am borrowing, so to speak. And just to see if it was going to run any better than my old Office, which it does, a little bit better. But there's this thing called Communicator in it now. And it's clearly Microsoft's version of Skype. And I think what they realize is now you can't beat them, so buy them. And so they did. So I'm sure that this Communicator thing and Skype are going to merge into one new thing. And whether Skype sticks around or not, I have no idea.
Well, it was a revolution in communication, and look at what we can do with it, with just doing our show and stuff, and it's pretty amazing. I was actually kind of sad to see that. I was hoping that that Apple would buy it or something along those lines, and then only we could use it.
Well, they have all their stakes in what's it called, FaceTime, I guess.
That's right. That's right. So this is almost like having coffee with you, Diane. Maybe one of these days the three of us can get together for coffee in Des Moines or something. I mean.
I think
so much fun.
I think it actually glows. The screen glows around the person who's actually talking.
I think so too. I've noticed that.
Oh, that's really neat. Actually, it knows who's talking, so that person's screen will have a little box around it that kind of highlights.
What if we all shout at the same time? What it'll do?
One.
La 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 la.
All righty.
Okay.
Well, now we know that this can be done. Imagine the possibilities. We're going to move into a whole new era in East West Audio Body Shop.
Yeah.
So anyway.
We just have to get a real sponsor now to actually pay for this.
Yeah, boy. And after watching this, they're going to be rolling in to talk to us about
Actually, do you think we can get Skype to sponsor us?
What a concept. They just got a lot of money. And
yeah, no kidding. Well, Dan, do you want to tap our brain for any information while you got us cornered right now, or
really.
Should we let you go and end the misery?
Something I mentioned a little bit earlier. Does Adobe Audition 3.0 have issues with recording and playing back on with Skype?
Yeah, we were talking about this before. Sometimes, if you're, sometimes I'll be demonstrating something on Sound Booth or Audition while I'm on Skype when I'm teaching sessions and things like that, and sometimes it'll crash on me. but that's when I've got it on the screen. You know, George has been talking about how Skype tends to take up an awful lot of resources in a computer.
Oh yeah.
And that may cause some problems. But as we were saying, you know, it crashes, you bring it back up, and you know, that's the way it works, because you're going to be recording still in your own software. And generally it's Skype that crashes, not the software.
Right. Yeah, I'd have to say that's...
Hello?
Sorry, that was my I've got so many screens up here and windows all over the place.
Oh, you ain't kidding. I took a picture of my 2 screens. I'll post it on the on Facebook showing you how many windows I have open. It's hilarious.
Yes, we have to get a picture of the Hydra.
Yeah, exactly.
See exactly what a mess of cables you've got going on over there.
Well, this may be the last time I use, until I can shell out for a new high-power computer, this probably be the last time I use BOINX, because it's definitely has a lot more overhead involved, and I can see that the frame rate is definitely worse on the video stream. Everything's much choppier and stuff, so I think it's been fun and it's been a neat experiment. But to be honest, being able to do 3-way chatting in Skype almost completely eliminates the need to even use this sophisticated video mixer now.
Yeah. Look at this. It actually has this like on a platform with reflection on it. And like we're like on a wall somewhere. It's like, that's really cool.
I know. It's wicked. Really neat. And you know, unfortunately, since I'm hosting the call, I get the shaft, and I'm the small guy at the bottom. But
oh well,
that's okay.
I tried hitting record. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I tried to record on my Adobe Audition,
right,
just to see if it would record, and it wasn't recording. It didn't. I didn't see anything on it. But one thing I did notice is all of a sudden, George's voice went like this.
And yours has gone up. That's because you're probably recording at 48, and Skype is will only take it at 44. At 44.1, I think, is what the problem is.
That's where things get even more complicated.
So that's a problem. I experienced that problem when we were doing a webinar, and I was demonstrating sound booth, and I went to the multi-track mode, and the multi-track mode was in 48K, and then suddenly I sounded like Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
If anybody was on that one, it remembers what that sounded like.
And now your video is frozen, actually, Dan. You are still, but yeah, no, that's a really important detail that I've probably glazed over in almost every tutorial I've ever written about recording and Skyping at the same time, is that Skype is going to default most likely to 44.1K sample rate. I mean, that's like the most common setting. So if you go to record at 44, are you recording at 44.1 or 48?
I always record at 44.1.
Okay, and you still had that problem.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes, very interesting. Well, I know the people that do like doing Skype at the same time as recording, by and large, have the most success by using a separate audio device just for Skype. And that usually just means using your built-in sound card in your computer for Skype, and using your Pro Audio device for your recording application.
Right.
And then combining the two with a very simple Mackie mixer or Behringer or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, George Washington was just telling us that it's only $9 a month for the conference calling.
Okay, so it's $5 for a day pass, $9 a month. I get you. So you do it for more than 2 days, and you've paid for a month.
Right.
That's really clever marketing or pricing. You know, there's almost anything I'll sign up for if it's under $10 a month.
But those add up after a while.
Yeah, I've got like 5 or 6 different monthly $10 a month services I pay for now.
Yeah, wait till you have four people in a household with an iPhone.
Oh, geez, I just have 3 people on sharing a phone line, and it's like $200 a month.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, well,
I think that's all for tonight.
Since Dan's still frozen, I think I'll hang up on Diane and we'll close up the show. Thanks for coming on, Diane.
It's always a pleasure to see you, babe.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I hung up on Diane.
All right.
And you're still a freeze frame, Dan.
Da, 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 da.
Yep, still a freeze frame.
I'm still frozen.
Okay, so I'm going to hang up on you and call you back.
Okay. And then we'll say goodnight.
Woohoo! Saying goodnight. Coming back to me. Gonna call Dan. Da da da. There we go. Well, boy, I'll tell you. Talk about showing how the sausage is made. We really made some sausage tonight.
Huh?
Nope. I woke up Dan.
Oh, wait a second. Hold up. What? Up. Got to get me on there. There we go.
There we go. Thanks, Dan. And we're back.
And we're back. And we're leaving now. Okay, next week. Who's our guest? We've got...
We do have Rebecca Wilson from Source Connect, or Source Elements, that the company that brought you Source Connect. Right. She's going to be coming on to talk about the technology, where it came from, right. Why it works so well, and what's coming up next for them.
I know we've got Eric Shepard coming on in a couple of weeks, and Bob Bergen.
Bob Bergen's coming on. We're going to have John Taylor back in the studio again because he was so fun.
Yes, he was.
Did you know that, John? No, he knew. So, we're going to go back to our normal way of broadcasting things next time, so we can have a smoother show, and it'll be more formal.
Our normal format will return next week. So,
that's a good idea, Dan. I think I'll actually print it out on paper next time, so I don't have to have an 11th window open on my screen.
We actually format this show out, so we know who's going to be on and timing the segments like we're actually on a network or something.
Yeah,
I knew that broadcasting degree would come in handy one of these days.
Yeah, totally. No, it's going to be fun. But anyway, before we wrap it up, let me just tell you, if you want to get a hold of me and you want to find out if your audio sucks or not, and I'll give you the honest possible answer possible without insulting you, you can drop me a file on my website. You just go to vostudiotech.com and click on register at the upper right-hand corner and make yourself a free account. And then you can get to my Dropbox in the services menu and drop me a file. So I'll be happy to take a listen to files and give you my notes whenever possible. And it can be really helpful to get that completely unbiased and objective ear to make sure you're on the right track. So
absolutely
happy to do that for you.
Right. And the same thing here, you can write to me at homestudiomaster@verizon.net and send me a file too. And the fact of the matter is George and I exchange these files all the time anyway and laugh at them.
Yeah, we do. We don't laugh, but we do bounce files off of each other once in a while when there's something weird going on that, one of us is thinking, is that a USB problem or is that
it's one of those things? Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time. And sometimes it's like, I have no idea what's going on here, and then it's fun to stump George. So but you can communicate with either of us, and I like to work with people who are just starting out and really want to set up their studio and get it set up right the first time and get themselves as competitive as possible. And
I don't mind taking on people that think they know everything and showing them where they're missing
because
out.
You'll show them that they really don't. Because you've shown me a few things over the years. And of course, I get to show you things too. But,
oh, yeah. We learn from each other all the time. That's what's so great about doing this. I think we benefit more from this than you guys do.
No, don't say that, and then they won't come back.
Oh, man. I just ruined it, didn't I? I didn't mean it from a business perspective. I mean, we get so much out of it. We have so much fun, and we learn so much. So we're going to keep doing this.
We've probably jumped way ahead of all the other webcasters just tonight. Even though the show sucked, but this was not our best show ever, but it was still fun. Anyway, okay, we'll be back next week, 8:00 Eastern time, 5:00 out on the West Coast, and whatever time it is in Rio de Janeiro, which I think is on Central Time, to tell you the truth. Anyway, I'm Dan Leonard in the East.
And I'm George Whittam in the West.
And together we are
East-West
Audio
Body Shop. Good night, everybody.
Have a great week. Enjoy Memorial Day.